I knew I was sincerely going through depression when I looked at y'all and I felt nothing. And that's why when insecure people see a confident person stepping heavy, they think we're arrogant.
Woo!
Because that's
Message.
So many people are in such a silent competition with you that they don't want you to move up. They don't want you to get better. They don't want you to see the true potential that you just sitting down on. I've been fake humble this whole time. I've been fake humble this whole time. Thinking I'm humble. Like everybody always talked about how humble I was. No, I was insecure. But bye-bye to him. This is an Iwegbus production.
period. My name is Takesha.
And my name is Namdi.
And you are Pillow Talking with the Iwegbus. Episode 29.
29. What's up?
Yes, 29. I'm just a few months out of that age.
So, yeah.
Just a few months out of that age.
Listen, we wanted to try something different or go with a different flow, a little bit more laid back. Actually, pillow talking. We got the pillows going up in here, straight up. So we wanted to do that with you guys and and really get into things, right?
Yes, it's so much to talk about. First and foremost, we miss y'all.
Yes.
We have been fighting our way to get back to y'all. And we're gonna get into all of the tea, the coffee, the Kool-Aid, everything.
Yeah. We haven't talked to y'all to begin this year, and we want to just go into just as this time, anytime that we off, we're not just chilling. We're not just laying around. We're working on growing in certain areas.
In all areas.
And so that's what we've been focused on doing here, really.
Yeah.
In doing that. And so we wanted to kind of dive into some areas that we really found out, some areas that we grew in or some things that we learned within this past year. I know we a month in now, but can we share with y'all some of the revelations that we had in 2023 that now has us switching up the game, coming on fire, ready to really get it in 2024. Can we do that with y'all?
Yeah.
Y'all let us know. Let us know. Can we share these things with y'all? Some different gems, some different nuggets. And we pray that whatever it is that we've went through, maybe some revelations that we've had, it can bless you in some way in your life and what's going on in your current situation. So can we share that? Can we share that with y'all?
So I turned 30 November 27th. And so the reason why we're going back is because literally I was, to be honest, y'all, I was high key afraid of coming back because I was like, I'm such a different person. And I felt like remember I told you, I was like, I feel like if I even continue in the old way that I will be behaving as a fraud. Like I literally went through such a drastic shift in my identity. And I remember all the women telling me like, oh, when you're 30 and this is going to happen and whoa, and this and that. And you, like, it was like this huge warning about the catastrophe that could come when I turned 30. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it's going to be that bad. Yeah. I don't believe that it's going to be as bad as y'all talking about. I am excited for it. And although I couldn't have imagined the death of a version of myself, I couldn't have grasped that. It was beautiful at the same time. And so I am not, so first and foremost, I turned 30. I had a huge
shout out to my babe for turning 30.
Not shout out for turning 30.
She turned 30.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do my hair because I keep
y'all probably been listening to her and thinking, hold up, all that wisdom, she wasn't even 30.
Okay, that kind of be hurting my feelings because people like, you're just now 30. I'm like, dang, y'all thought I was 40.
Baby, it's not based off of look, it's just based off of just like I said, the wisdom that you have.
And you're older too, so people assume I'm at least your age.
Yes.
So I had a birthday party, and it was the first. I wasn't gonna do anything. Remember that? And I was just gonna do something small and intimate. And I was just like, no, I'm turning 30. Like I deserve to have a birthday party. Yeah. I have had big failures when it comes to big days in a lot of ways. I mean, let's just start with the wedding. It was just a mess. And so I said, no, I am taking back my power in the days that matter to me. So I invited a bunch of people. My family came into town. I love them so much. We had a blast. Like I'm talking all my sisters, my nieces, my cousins, my friends literally flew for me on my birthday. I had all my friends here pull up, new friends that I'm building relationships with. And in the same weekend, I had one of the most terrifying moments that led into a season for me. And although, like I said, I won't go into full detail because I don't even think I'm gonna ever necessarily share it, or maybe I don't know. Y'all know how this goes. You're not comfortable and then you are. I think the further I get away from it, the more free I'll probably be to share. But what I will say is when I turned 30, it was almost like everything came crashing down in every false identity that I was trying to hold on to. Y'all know I talk about how I held on to being a Christian hip hop artist for 3 years, like for 2+ years at least, knowing that God was shifting me, knowing that I was being shifted into speaking, but I never wanted to speak. I didn't want to preach. I've been told that my whole life. I kind of felt like it was on my life, but I'm like, I just don't like, yeah, that's so typical to be a preacher. And my mom was an assistant pastor. So I was just fighting it. But more than just a profession or, like a career, God was calling me to a higher place in him. And it was something that I was fighting. It was things that I was fighting that, weren't sin. So I was like, I'm not going to go to hell if I keep doing these things. But all I can say is in the experience that I had with my birthday, I felt, I'm not saying God said, I'm not saying any of that, but I felt like God was putting upon me, like, if you don't do this, you won't do nothing. Like almost like you're coming home with me. And in the depths of, if I could talk about this, you know what I'm talking about. Like if you don't do this, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And it was a scary time for the both of us. Turning just that season was horrible. It was the worst experience of my entire life. It was incredibly challenging. It challenged our marriage. It challenged my identity. It challenged every friendship. It made me look at every aspect of my family, my parents, my friends, myself, what I'm doing, what I talk about, my ministry, my brand. Like it just disrupted everything. And I couldn't rush out of it. So the reason why y'all have not seen me and the reason why y'all have not seen us is because God did not let me rush out of that season. I tried my best to go through that and just be like, oh, I can just bounce back like nothing happened. God's like, no, you keep doing that. Like you're not going to be able to, when you come back, you're going to be walking in full authority. And so what we thought was going to be a week
turned into
months.
Couple months. Yeah. I mean, like we would kind of feel like you would want to get back going, but it was just like, nah, it would be a force.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be right. And just the revelations that you had, like you said, during that time, you was coming to me about was like, okay, I feel like I want to approach some things differently.
Yeah, it was so much, y'all. Like every day I had visions. Every day I had dreams. Every day God spoke to me about every part in my life that was not fully submitted to him. Every single, it was 5 days specifically that were just really like, I sat down and was just stuck. And you know this, like I didn't move. I
wanted to just pull her out, but it was like she was there, and all I could do was just pray, for whatever it is that he wanted to say to you, and with,
he spoke,
which direction we was gonna go.
I could make a book for the revelations that I got in that time. And so now being on the other side of the season, it has been, that was so terrible. And I remember rushing out of it. I remember wanting to rush out of it. And now being on the other side, I'm just like, oh my God, if that didn't happen, I don't know, it had to happen. No telling what type of slope I would have went down. No telling what my lifestyle would have eventually, went into. And so I think this is also encouragement for anyone that is trying to rush out of a season, like rush out of difficulty, rush out of storms, rush out of trials and tribulation. There's not one storm, there's not one trial, there's not one difficult season that I regret going through, because every time, if you suffer well, Every single time you go through it and you come out with more wisdom. You come out with more insight. You say, okay, this time I'm not going to just jump into these opportunities, or I'm not just going to date just anybody, or I'm going to talk to my man different. I feel like I came out a completely different wife. I came out a completely different friend, and just being more, I think I'm more serious about life and how quickly it can be taken away from me. So that's one revelation that I've had.
That was a pretty big revelation, and kind of just confusing time. It's almost like we just waiting in the waiting room to see how she's gonna come out of this.
How did you,
which direction?
As my husband, as I was going through, because I was also very depressed. Let me just put that out there too. Like, I was incredibly sad. I was so sad. I've never experienced. I literally said, I thought that I struggled with depression before. This is depression. Like, what that before was sadness. That was like moments. This is paralyzing depression to where I did not move. I slept, I laid in the bed, I sat on the couch. That's it. Like, I was sincerely in the pit of depression. What did that do for you as my husband? What was your response? What was your experience through that time? Did you get any revelation for yourself as my man, or like?
Well, for me, during that time, it was tough because as men, we want to fix things. We want to come to be the hero in whatever our family is going through. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to come and do that. And when I was trying to do that and it just wasn't working, it was like, no, God was like, no, I got this. Like, this is what I got to do. And so all I could do was go into that prayer closet and really go and fervently pray. I'm telling you, in men, if your wife is ever going through a thing, she's going through a season or whatever, man, and you just can't get through to her, or she's just really been deep down depressed, man, I'm telling you, man, prayer works. The Lord hears you. Because I was just praying.
Did you feel like you were gonna lose me?
Like, lose your type, like what?
Just like lose, like I was slipping away almost, like emotionally. Because to be honest, you and my children were a blur. I knew I was sincerely going through depression when I looked at y'all and I felt nothing. Like, usually I can look at my children and feel love and like laughter and like just happiness. When I looked at y'all and I felt nothing is when I really knew something was dying. And at that time I thought it was something good. Like the good thing is leaving. And I think I'm sorry. I know I cut you off, but I was just thinking about how I was like responding to y'all. I'm like, what was dying? I think God needed me to feel the pain of, thank you, Lord. So dying to your false self, it obviously feels like death, but I think that the Lord is also allowing us to know, like, if you continue to live in a false perspective or a false identity, or just not fully submitted, you are walking dead. Like, you are not alive in me. You do not have life in me. You don't have freedom in me. You don't have peace in me. So even though I felt that with y'all, it's like almost like how the Father looked at me, like, if you don't fully, you cannot find full anything without me. Outside of anything, you can't find it in your kids, you can't find it in your husband, you can't find it in what you do. And I just remember that moment so vividly, because I was actually sharing with my sister, and I think she was just kind of blown away. I'm like, I remember the moment I looked at my daughter and she was trying to love on me, because they knew. They knew. My 5-year-old and my 6-year-old and 7-year-old also knew that I was going through something. And I remember, like, my daughter would just kind of check on me, like, it's this look that they give me, like, something's off with you. And I remember she was just like, mommy, like, she was trying to do something to make me smile. And I was just like, hey, baby, mommy's okay. But that nothing connected. I was like, oh, this is depression.
Yeah. The most I could do was, like I said, was pray, give you love, encouragement, be there as much as I could. That's what I did. This is one thing I knew. The Lord works. I knew you was gonna come out better. Regardless. Like, even when you didn't see it, I'm like, It's gonna come out better.
Yeah, you would just say like fight.
I just didn't know which way we was gonna be going, afterwards, like show as far as the show and all of that. I'm like, okay, I don't know what she gonna want to do. Is she gonna come? If God gonna give her a new revelation about something, like what are we gonna do? That was about it. But other than that, like I knew just to pray. And I mean, you came out like better with better revelation and just like really even more fired up. I think to get back at the enemy. Like, nah, you're not about to shut us down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not about to shut down what God is about to do in my life and through me.
Well, it wasn't that easy either though, at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, because that season made us question if we were supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So we don't want to get like it. We had to fight for this perspective. Oh, thank you. So can I share another revelation? So even thinking about this, like I'm telling y'all, going through seasons, I don't regret anything that I went through. But if you go through a hard season or a difficult season or a dying season or a whatever season that's really like traumatic or trying, if you don't go through it walking side by side or behind the Lord, following him, you can really make some really crazy decisions. Yeah. Like it can really absolutely, Dr. Darius says this, like you can make a decision that'll last for a season. Yeah. And so even in that time, because it was so traumatic in our household, we questioned everything. Yeah. Like how did I get here? How did I get to this place? So y'all, we didn't know. So we went on a fast.
Yeah, fast.
We went on a fast together to really seek the Lord's face. And so that's another thing I just want to add to this in addition to you going through something, because a lot of people say Romans 8:28 and it all works together for our good. And it's like, no, it don't work for everybody's good. Actually, it works for those that love the Lord according to his will for our lives. So when you align with his will and you walk with him and you continue to search and seek for him, it will work together for your good. Why? Because he's going to lead you in the next season. He's going to lead you to the next step. But had we not really locked in with the Lord and said, all right, what's up? What are you saying? Shoot, I might be here by myself doing tapping with TK, right. And not doing pillow talking with you.
Yeah, because it's as we really locked in with him and just really seeked his answers and was like, we not moving until we got his answers.
Yeah.
He started to show us bit by bit.
He did every single step of the way.
Every single step of the way. So
so that's what happened with me.
Yeah,
that's my revelation.
So one of my revelations was that I really was dealing with most of the year was emotional snipers.
You gotta tell them.
And I gotta tell them what emotional snipers is. I knew they'll say that, and I was like, I said I need to pull that up. The definition. Yeah. So, and this is something we've been going through.
Yeah, you want
tons of programs, and right now, so right now, we are a part of a program by Dr. Darius Daniels that is called Elevate Academy. Let me tell you, shout out to anybody that may be in here or watch this on replay from Elevate Academy. Let me tell you, yesterday was so fire, man. Whenever he offers something. If you're trying to grow, if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to get deeper in your word, or you're just trying to become walk out this life in a better way to your fullest potential, jump in there. It's worth every penny. So we jumped in this called Elevate Academy. He did a 3-day challenge, the best year ever. And he talked about this thing called emotional snipers, and it caught on to me. And it was like, that's what it is. And emotional sniper is a metaphorical term used to describe a hidden or subtle emotional issues and triggers that can undermine an individual's personal or professional success. And man, did I notice that I was dealing with that. All through 23. We would be getting going and we would catch some momentum and then I'll be like, yeah, I don't really know if I'm supposed to do this. Like who really trying to hear from me? I shared that with y'all. I'm
somebody encourage him in these comments that we need Namdi in these social media streets.
Yeah, I'm like,
let them encourage you, babe.
That's all good. I mean, I get it. I get it now, but for a while I didn't. Like I just didn't know if this was something that I needed to be doing. Maybe I'm the type of person that typically likes to play the background. And we were doing the best year ever. He started explaining me to the T. He said, you're the person who likes to play the background. He said, but you should really be upfront, because if you're upfront, because of how your heart is, you'll steward it well. And I was like, wow. And you always would try to push me up to the front. One of my homies, shout out to Mike, Mike Bishop. You know, he tried to push me.
Last name for real?
Yes, Mike
That's
Bishop.
a dope name.
Shout out to Mike. And so and these are things that, like, it could be things like imposter syndrome. That's an emotional sniper, feeling like I don't belong in this room. I don't belong here. One of mine was, I think it was called.
You was about to tell Mike Bishop?
Yeah, Mike Bishop. He made me see something. One day I was speaking about sales, and I was just like, I was talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, man, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it's anybody can do this, man. So all you got to do is this, that, and the other, and they're gonna succeed. And he let me say that day, and he called and talked to me the next day. He said, hey, bro. He said, man, you said something yesterday, man. It just didn't sit right with me, man. I kind of gotta tell you. He said, bro, hey, you said like anybody could do what, at the high level that you perform at our job, anybody can do that. He said, Namdi, everybody can't do that. He said, nah, bro, you different. Like when you do what you was doing in retail, no, not everybody can do that. What you did at the other broker agency, not everybody can do that. He's like, nah, bro. So I don't want you to just walk around with that false identity that you're just so average that if you could do it, then anybody can. Nah, he said it's not like that.
Pause. That's why you need friends like that. So it makes me think about people that are in our lives that aren't elevating and aren't growing. And so they are also going to let us grow. They're not also going to say, hey, Namdi,
they're not going to check that.
They're not going to check that because they're not growing either.
Yeah.
Or they're jealous or they got little things on the inside. So it's so important. This is why I'm so picky about who gets my time, who gets my ear, who gets, after a while, like I start seeing people's ways and certain things about them. I'm like, so if you're moving that way, you're for sure not going to check me when I start kind of doing some kind of crazy. And I think that's been a huge shift in our lives this year. Mike Bishop calling that out to you, he didn't let you play yourself small. And if you have a jealous friend, an envious friend, a competing friend, they want you to play small.
Yeah, they glad that you talking bad about yourself.
Yeah, it's like, man, I feel that way
seeing yourself
too.
In a small way. They love that.
Like I think about how many times I vented to someone about something. It's just like, dang, girl, you just gotta. It's like, no, tell me, like, sis, you're gonna come out of that. Don't stay there. And so that's why even like, especially for us and what we're doing, I'm so intentional about being around high level people. And what I mean about high level people is that people that never stop growing emotionally.
Yes.
That has been the biggest thing. Like now that I know emotional snipers is what has held us back. Forget the money and the job and the career that you have. I don't give a darn about that. Your emotional maturity it will either completely turn me off or get me to be like, can we meet every day? I'm trying to talk to you every day. You say you read what book, you're in what program, you got in therapy, you in counseling with your husband, you're like, that's the type of people that we are really striving to be around. Because when you really do look at in seasons where you wasn't growing, look at your friends. And you're like, dang, I was around these type of people that didn't encourage me, that didn't say, hey, what happened to y'all podcast? Y'all been going for 2 months. Mike,
he like, hey, where's it at?
Mike, like, where the episodes at? What's up? You know what I'm saying? But you got some people that's like, thank God. Thank God.
They stopped again. Yeah, they mediocre. That's what I thought. Yep, can't be consistent. You know what I'm saying?
And so we need people like that around us that will call out any moment we try to be mediocre. And play ourselves out.
So, he called me up. He said, nah, bro. He said,
when you told me that,
you bigger than that.
I was like, that is such a phenomenal friend to have.
Oh, for sure, man. A friend indeed. Like I don't think, man, and I probably just don't remember right now. At least I ain't heard nobody else ever in probably a long time check me like that. That's when I was like, man, I love you, brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's my guy. I love him. Like, that's me. Like, for real, because he did that. And so what that let me see was I had a false identity of myself. Because the snipers, it's just like a sniper. Like, if you ever play, any of y'all got Call of Duty as a game, or you've seen a movie where a sniper, you don't see it. You don't know why do I keep self-sabotaging myself? Why do I keep doing this? It all starts here.
Yeah.
And so it was like, man, I was like, that was the first time I kind of sat back. I was like, how can Mike see something that I can't see? Because a lot of times the people that's on the outside can see you better than you can sometimes.
And they run away from people that do see that though and challenge that.
Some do.
See, you're a different type of man. I'm sorry, I'm getting hyped now.
Okay.
You're a different type of man, right? Because people actually don't like people that challenge them.
Yeah.
They want a bunch of yes men and allow them to be mediocre and allow them to be complacent. But as soon as you say, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be real life. People run away from a Mike Bishop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they run away from somebody that tries to challenge them. So kudos to you for being a integral enough man, an honest enough man, consistently trying to be better, that you wasn't on some, you know what I'm saying? Like you wasn't on some, like, what are you talking about?
I'm with that. That's what I need. I encourage more of that. That's what I want in my circle. Like I want people like that, man. Yes. And so anyway, it did cause me to look at some things and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't see myself right. And sometimes, don't get it wrong though, my wife has always been the first to call all these things out. So you're whoever you're with, whoever your partner is, whoever your wife is, girlfriend, boyfriend, y'all been together for a while, they can't call out those things, then they maybe don't care. Like she been calling me up.
Or they're super blind.
Yeah, they're super blind or something. They just not paying attention.
A coward.
Yeah. Because she had been saying things like this, but it's sometimes it's just like y'all and me, and y'all can probably attest to this, and women too, that you would probably say something to your husband, and you'll say something to your partner about something that they do or some revelation that you've gotten, and it doesn't really click until the pastor says something on Sunday. It's like, oh, I said that same thing to you a long time ago.
And now Dr. Darius has said it. It's a deep revelation. like I told you that 4 months ago.
Yeah, so it was something that she had said, but it was just a different form. It was different to hear from a brother, because most of the time, so many people are in such a silent competition with you that they don't want you to move up. They don't want you to get better. They don't want you to see the true potential that you just sitting down on, that you just been stagnant about. And so, he said that to me, and just going through that best year ever and hearing about emotional snipers, hearing about also one of the big things was that he was saying was that I heard from, I think it might have even been Thrive. And man, we're not, idolizing or anything, but I just got to give credit where credit's due with Dr. Darius and the different programs that he's had that God literally divinely pulled us into this year. We could probably go there and say a whole nother. We can tell them how that, huh?
I can tell it.
Okay, so before we go there, so he also said something about that. It was a big revelation to me about because you're insecure, that don't mean you humble.
Oh,
so I thought I was being a humble person because I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to play the background. I'm cool. It's like, no, that's insecurity. Be insecure. Like that's not true humility. Like, well, you got potential, but people done told you stuff and all, and you still sitting on that. No, that's not being humble. That's not cute because you sit in the background. Like, no, it's being humble when, like, you're doing your thing and you're not taking all the praise and all the honor. It's like, no, I'm gonna give some of that to the Lord. It's some to the Lord and some is you, because you did some of that work as well. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, dang, I've been fake humble this whole time. I've been fake humble this whole time. Thinking I'm humble. Like everybody always talked about how humble I was. No, I was insecure. But bye-bye to him. Bye-bye. What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Bye-bye. Okay, it's a worship song.
I know you're talking. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard
I can't remember what the song is, but hey, bye to him, no more. I said, nah, this year we stepping heavy.
Period.
Like this year, no, it's a tribe that's called to Namdi's voice. Yes, I'm here. Hello, welcome. We will not sit there no more. There's some other men out there that need to be integral, just as I've tried my best to be. Like, no, I'm here. Let's go. Let's run. It's no more of that. So I can't play small no more. Like I'm too daggone old to play small as well. I got grades, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm too old to be playing small. So yeah, bye to that. He caught, man, when he hit me, that stung me so hard, babe. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
You fake humble. Huh? You fake humble, cuz.
It's just insecure.
You're just insecure.
And that's why when insecure people see a confident person stepping heavy, they think we're arrogant.
Ooh.
Because that's
Message.
That's another thing that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
Is, and I, especially when I was back home and I was doing Christian hip hop, like I was called Hollywood because I wanted my mic to not sound like a staticky radio. Right. And I'm trying to rap, like, no, turn the music off. Like, let's pause and get the sound again. Like, just because I was confident and I knew what I wanted, like, people thought that was arrogant. It's like, no, you're actually exposing your insecurity. Like, as sons, and you know, one thing about reading the Bible for yourself, you realize how many people don't know the word.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, do y'all know how much the Bible actually pumps us up as his sons and daughters? Yeah. Royalty, high priest, head, not the tail, lenders, meaning we are supposed to be wealthy. We're at least supposed to be in an overflow to be a lender. Yeah. If I can lend you money and it doesn't hurt my family, that means I'm in overflow. So that means I'm supposed to have some money. Yeah. If I'm the head and not the tail, that means I'm a leader. Yeah. That means I'm in front when I make moves. I know what if I am all of these, if I'm peculiar, that means that I stand out. I don't, if there's a group of women, Takesha should be able to stand out. You should be like, that's a woman of God. She's modest, because that's a part of our character too. She is discreet. She carries herself in a way. And so even when we look at the word, it's like, y'all done made the definition of a son and a daughter arrogant. That's our definition. It's to even you talking. It's like, let me go ahead and talk to any hater that might be watching. That's like, oh God, here he is. Like, yeah, here he is, a son of God, a man of God, a pastor, a leader, the shepherd of this home. You are absolutely supposed to walk upright because it's a Negro with his, I won't even explain. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that has a complete opposite message, who's confident in his message, and it's false. Come on. Who's confident in what he's talking about, and he's actually a fool. Wow. And when you see a son and a daughter getting wealthy or getting money or getting accolades or getting whatever, we're like, they must. I remember I made a song. I remember when I made a song, and it probably was one of my best songs, and it got a lot of traction, you know, Black Love. I mean, what they call Black Ink Crew. Picked it up, New York or whatever, looked at it or whatnot. And I remember that was the song that people was like, oh, she must not be a Christian no more. What? Yeah. You know, it's like you start getting these things, you start hearing these things, and what you're realizing, the root of this is people that are insecure. And you're insecure because you don't know your identity. When you tap into the word and you actually read scriptures for yourself and not just go to church and not just watch clips on Instagram, but you actually open up your Bible, you realize how much of a force you actually are, and then you walk in that. Come on. That's evident. It's evident. That's why I was telling Amdi the other day, tangent, I'm like, I will never get along with an insecure woman. Never. I never have, and I never will, because it clashes. Confidence and insecurity clashes. You cannot have a relationship as a bold, confident, secure person with they're gonna be sneak dissing, little shade, little jokes, little jabs, little, why you doing all that? Why you doing that? Bye bye. Bye bye. Can't do it. 2024 can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
This is an Iwegbus production.
Period.
Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yes. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.